RuralAgriculture.com is here with Peter Johnson, cereal specialist with the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture. Welcome here, Peter.
Well, good afternoon, Lyndsey, and thanks for having me.
Yes, now it is here the very beginning of spring, according to the calendar. A little bit of a different spring from last year. Should farmers be itching to get out there, or in relative terms, are we early, late, or on time?
So this is a more quote-unquote normal spring. The last few years have actually been early. It's almost like global warming is really pushing us early. This is just back to normal. Should farmers be itching to get out there? Absolutely, because if they're itching to get out there, they actually get the equipment ready to go. But should they be out there other than red clover seed? Not a chance. It's just too early.
So now we've had some discussion. I've been talking with some farmers. I mean, there's still some snow hanging around in different areas, maybe around Guelph. Some, not as much, but definitely some discussion about nitrogen application. So what's really the optimal staging and timing of that?
So there is already some nitrogen on the wheat crop in Ontario, and that is so wrong because it puts it at such a high risk for nitrogen loss, denitrification into the atmosphere. The perfect timing, if you're only going to do one application, is just the day before you plant corn. And so typically on a normal year, that's going to be somewhere around the 25th of April. And that's a really good time. If you're going to split apply nitrogen, then we probably want to hit the first shot a little earlier than that and the second shot a little later than that. But if it's only one application, which is primarily the way it's done, even though I don't think that's the best way, that's primarily the way it's done, it would be right around that 25th of April. It's a big geography, so 25th of April, definitely too early if I'm way up at New Liskeard, but that's a pretty good date to aim for.
Okay, and so any initial look at the wheat crop conditions so far? I mean, have you been out there digging about?
Yeah, absolutely, and so far, even though it's a little too early to tell because the wheat hasn't greened up, with the exception of right down around Windsor, there's been a little bit of green up start to show. Primarily, the wheat crop looks excellent. It went into the winter in perfect shape, and so I'm really excited about the yield potential this year. There's a few acres in eastern Ontario where they had quite a bit of icing. Again, out there, it's a little bit delayed, and so it's harder to tell, but gosh, I am worried about that area just from that icing, and a little bit of the late planted wheat that still isn't emerged yet, which is we'll watch that, but for the most part, 98% of the wheat crop looks amazing.
Okay, and let's touch on, just before we go, just a teeny bit on clover. Now is the time to be out there getting that clover on. Of course, in the morning, it's got to be a little firm for you to go out there and do that. Any recommendation on rates and choosing a type?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, if you haven't got the clover on the wheat crop, the question would be, why the heck not? And it's not too late, so get it done. I mean, the benefit to red clover is unbelievable, and we've talked about that before. So the rate is somewhere between 6 to 8 pounds per acre. Let's say 7 pounds per acre if we want to pick just one number. You want to err on the safe side, go to 8 pounds. Quite a cheap adventure, if you will. It's around $1.50 a pound. And quite frankly, we have two types, single cut or double cut. In the US, they call single cut mammoth clover. I really don't care which. Our data would suggest that both are equally as good. They have different growth habits. If you're worried about a late planted field and you're worried about clover competition, then single cut is the right choice for you. If you have some perennial weed control you want to do after the wheat comes off, single cut's the choice. If you want the Cadillac or you want some free forage for your beef cows or your dairy cows, then double cut is the choice. But
Perfect.
Either way, just get it done.
Right. All right. Sounds great, Peter. Thanks so much.
Oh, you're more than welcome, Lyndsey.